guys and dolls, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new here, how you doing? Let's get right into this. As usual, please like, comment, subscribe if you can. Share my videos so that you spread the information, whatever I happen to be telling you. I always try to give you concise and true information. And if ever I find anything is not true or anything was total bullshit that I found, and I'm telling you to trust me and believe me that what I'm giving you happens to be true as much as I can verify the truth. So yeah, hopefully you will feel confident in sharing my videos and sharing my information. So please comment, like, subscribe, interact with me. I would love to speak to some of you. I know a few of you already always leave me comments, and I appreciate it so much. You know who you are. So, okay, this is another story about the secret space program, and this one is specifically targeted to one person. His name is Tony Rodrigues, and you should kind of relate to what I'm about to tell you because he's just like you and I. You might even know someone very similar to this person. If you want to see him speak, you want to see him in the flesh, go to UAMN TV on YouTube, and you should be able to find his interview. But this basically, what I'm doing is furthering disclosure. These beings that we think are not, I believe that they exist. I believe that they're out there. I believe almost 80% of everything that I'm hearing through whistleblowers, especially through my favorite person that I'm always telling you about. I'm not going to say his name, but his first name is David. I feel in my core that the information, if not 100% accurate, is very true. But without further delay, let's just get started into this particular story. And again, this is about Tony Rodrigues. He was a part of the secret space program, and another name for that program is the 20 and Back program. So he was trauma-based and mind-controlled, which gave him some psychic abilities. Once he was trained, he was sent to the moon. From there, he went to Mars, where he was a supposed support force for a war on Mars between the insectoids and human beings. He was not a full-on soldier when, from Mars, he was shipped to Ceres. And you're wondering, huh? He went to the moon, excuse me, was sent to Mars, and then was sent to a planet called Ceres. A planetoid between Jupiter and Mars. That's right. This is a planetoid between Jupiter and Mars. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Let me have a drink. Sorry about that. So you know how they teach you in school that there are only 9 planets. There are 9 planets that orbit Earth, or that are close to Earth. That is a bunch of bullshit. And see, through stories like his, this is how you find out what the powers that be, yes, the same powers that be that are giving you that wonderful cure that's killing people, that powers that be around the world, they don't want you to know that there are 30 other planets in that belt with Jupiter and Mars and all the other planets we learn about as kids in school. So, okay, he was sent to Ceres, that is a planetoid between Jupiter and Mars, in the edge of the asteroid belt. He was just pulled by a superior officer from his room one day and taken to a huge area which looked like a strip mall, but in actuality was a train station. This train was magnetized, so when you entered it, it would lift up. He said you could fully feel it. The train was not only for military, but a mixture of professionals, well-dressed, affluent people who ruled the society of Ceres with authority. It was like being in a large city. The train took off, accelerated in speed. There was a poof. And he said he felt like a ringing, or he heard a ringing in his ears. That's what it sounded like. Then deceleration, and then stop. When the train doors opened, he was no longer on Mars, but on Ceres, the planetoid. He stepped out onto gray dirt instead of the red dirt on Mars. So I know that we always see these dumb stories about, oh, Mars has red sand or whatever. Apparently it does. He was in a huge hangar area surrounded by German people. Why? Why does it always have to be German people? Why does really, you really just want to continue to further the stigma of Hitler? I don't understand. But anyway, he was surrounded by German people. Not that all German people are bad. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, like, I thought this was gone. I thought this was done. World War II was how many years ago? I thought that with the death, because I'm pretty sure Hitler is dead now, it would be done. I get it. There are Nazi people out there still that support it, but that's it. That's what I thought was left of World War II and the whole Nazi thing. But no. Oh no. It's not done. So, let me continue. So he was surrounded by German people. There were vast amounts of troops. It was like a delivery day. The area he was in was so vast, he looked up to see a round typical alien disc pass overhead as he felt a tingle of electricity hit him as it passed. So this place was so big that there were ships flying up above him. He was not even outside yet. Over the intercom, I can't speak today, over the intercom, he could hear instructions to drink a good amount of water because the trip disorientates electrolytes in the body. So whatever that vehicle he was on from Mars to Ceres depletes the human body of electrolytes, so you need water. Others were given bottles, but he was only given a small Dixie cup of water. You know the story isn't going anywhere good, right? Okay. Even though he was dying of thirst, because he was being rushed into formation for a briefing. The setting was like an old World War II Nazi movie. Soldiers lining up everywhere in formation. A guy at a podium speaking in German. A German soldier in full German regalia with a very large sidearm went up to him, and 7 other human soldiers that happened to be with him. So, again, I'm kind of telling you the story through his words, and you know, I would have liked to say that, oh, it was him and other people, but this is how the story kind of trailed out. Or why can't I speak? I turn on the camera and then I forget how to speak. He was with 7 other people, and I just found this out as the story droned on. But anyway, so that soldier walks up to him and the other troops he happened to be with and addressed them as slaves. That's right, slaves. He handed them all a green piece of paper with German writing, of course. They were told they would need to read it when called upon. If they refused, the German pointed to a small black spot. It was an area on the floor not too far away from them, and said they would have to stand there and be shot on the spot. He said several slaves were already killed a few days. Slaves. This is how he's talking to American soldiers that initially thought they were signing up to protect this amazing country. So he, I guess, I'm pretty sure he had some knowledge. If he was going into a secret space program, maybe they were paying him more. There had to be some incentive. But I'm pretty sure he had no idea that this was going to happen. Whew, okay. So he asked mockingly, the German soldier, to the American soldiers, is anyone going to get shot today? Tony and his fellow human soldiers said nothing. They just remained silent. The German soldier, why can't I say soldier? Jesus. The German soldier then gave them further instructions and said, when you are done, you will Hitler salute that flag. You know, that day would have been my last day. Most definitely. The reason why this place was dominated by Germany is because Germany has a breakaway civilization on Ceres, consisting, present tense, consisting. He wasn't speaking in past tense. This planetoid consists of 225,000 people and have about 40,000 slaves, like Tony, living in the area he was in. There are 2 other alien species also living there. Everything is underground and monitored from small observation stations on the planet's surface. They do not want their presence there known. They also built upon ruins found there from the presence of beings there before. So this planetoid that is within our, very, very close to Earth, within our current, geez, I am not scientific, but in the current belt of the 9 planets that, of course, we assume that there are only 9, but there are actually 30. So that info, okay, where was I? Okay, so this was built upon the ruins from the presence of other beings there. So there were beings there, ancient beings from, just like here, just like you find all these ancient ruins, that particular planetoid also had beings that lived there once upon a time, ages ago. That info he was not aware of. It must have been a formidable race of beings because as Tony traveled, he came across technology from this starter race. This is what the Germans on the Ceres, the planetoid, were calling the ruins that were already there. They were calling them the starter race. There were doors he came across in, I guess, formations, buildings, whatever you want to call it, because they were because they were underground. I'm assuming that these doors were embedded into the rock, to give you a better picture. So there were doors he came across that were capable of detecting your presence. Not the people behind the door, but the door itself. If unwelcome, the door could cause pain, harm, or entrance. Communications were telepathic, so the door would make the people behind it aware someone was outside. The inside of the planet was illuminated by artificial light. Kind of like if we were allowed to go inside the planet Earth, I'm pretty sure Earth is also illuminated by some artificial light inside. Some of the architecture mimics that of Germany, and Tony believes a small area he saw was a replica of a place in Germany by the name of Copenhagen. There was a lot of marble and columns everywhere. A train system, electric vehicles for authority, and ships/ferries to take people from one area to another. Is this bringing you flashbacks of all the movies you've ever seen? I can't really think of one specific movie, but not Back to the Future, or maybe Back to the Future with that floating vehicle, but I'm pretty sure you're familiar with movies that the vehicles are traveling on magnets. And there's one daggone movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. The movie with people having telephones in their hand, being able to communicate with just, going up to a car window and pressing a button and then being able to talk and see whoever you want to call through your hand. I know you know what movie I'm talking about. But anyway, that's the kind of atmosphere I'm picturing. And now people who don't believe that Hollywood is in cahoots and is the center of these beings that control the planet, believe me, they are. Believe me that Hollywood is very well aware of what is going on out there on Ceres, probably in Earth, inside of this. I can't even talk. I get so excited. I get so heated. But my point is that Hollywood is very well aware of what's really going on. So they make these movies and people fund them, because actually, who is funding all of these blockbuster hits? Star Wars, the Steven Spielberg movies, all these Marvel movies. Where do these ideas really come from? They're not all from dreams. Oh, heck no. They are not all from dreams. But anyway, let me continue. These buildings, homes, businesses are all set in an enormous cavern-like setting. For a better picture, they are dealing with artificial gravity. There are beings that lived. There are 9-foot beings that live there. that wore a specific jewelry. So wherever they went, the gravity turned down because it was too heavy for them to handle. AI would regulate it. The reason why Tony could understand them was because they had a translator devices. The devices worked in localized areas throughout the structure, so everyone, no matter the language, could be understood. The translator devices worked in most areas. Tony was treated as a tradable asset or resource. He was tested for certain things. Whatever he was best at, he would be sent to the place he was needed. The most to perform the duty he was needed. And basically, he was sent anywhere where he would be most effective. So whatever his trade was, whatever he was best at, whether it was soldering, maybe he was a big guy and he could lift heavy. I mean, you would need to see him in the video to kind of determine that because he wasn't very specific. Tony was not treated well. The Germans were very militant. He was treated as a slave. He lived on Ceres for 11 to 12 years. It was like a prison, he said. He lived in a cube with a cot, a small table, and a chair. He can come and go as he wanted, but he couldn't really afford it. And it took money to travel. And I definitely can relate because think about it. Right now, I am going through it. I mean, for the moment, I am employed, but I've already been unemployed twice this year. And to think about, okay, depending on how long you're unemployed for, think about it. What are you thinking about? How are you going to put food on the table? How are you going to get from point A to point B and still be able to at least cover your rent? This is what he was going through there as a United States soldier, as military personnel, where you think that when you're entering the military, pretty much in any country, but especially the United States. So yes, it did take money to travel, and he really had no money. Can you believe that? They gave him no money. Also, he had a curfew, so unless he could walk there and make it back on time, he could not leave. He had no money to speak of. The civilization he lived in was growing. So at the time he was there, this place was growing and buildings were going up and more people were coming through. As he spent his days there, more and more trains were being added and architecture going up. The population was growing as well. These Germans also had life-extending technologies, which means they were finding ways to live as long as humanity used to before the fall of man. So God only knows if these people are living the way we used to live before we fell to 350 years old, and also keeping their youth, because that's what we were capable of doing. Hence all the deformed people I see on Instagram trying to keep their youth. We know that in the recesses of our mind and in our genes, because I definitely believe in reincarnation. We remember the time when we could stay youthful and young the way that it was meant to be, in happier times, in times when our frequency was a very, very high and we weren't living in an inverted, negative, low frequency reality, because that's what this is. That's exactly what this is, and that's exactly the reality that Ceres embodies. A very low vibrational frequency, a very low energy, low as it can get, reality. So the Germans he worked with, most if not all, were born on Ceres. They had a completely different education, morals, upbringing, and were taught to probably the real history of Earth rather than what's shoved into our minds from birth. Also continuing to selectively breed as royals do for genetics. Oh my God. So these people are living the lives that the powers that be live that we don't see behind the scenes. Probably the satanic rituals, probably, again, selective breeding. So who knows if that's inbreeding? What does selective breeding mean to you? Obviously, that little royal couple that everybody is fussing over, and you know the royal couple I'm talking about. I'm not going to name names because I'm not prejudiced. I'm not prejudiced against anyone. But it irks me to the 100th power to know. Why did I do that? That was not a salute. But anyway, it just irks me to know that that little royal couple that everybody's fussing over, that woman, her father's line goes back to Henry V. So whereas I wish no ill will, I hope that their family is healthy and happy, which they are because they have the money. They have no worries like we have worries. So I really don't care whatever issues they're going through. It doesn't matter to me because she was full aware of the family she was entering. And to know that this is still going on in a planet not too far from here, not too far from Earth, in a planetoid, and they're still taking slaves, and they're doing it in World War II Hitler style fashion. I don't know about you, but this just makes my blood boil. Let me continue. But as stupid as the Nazi and Hitler still believing they are superior and a better race than everyone on Earth. Yeah, it's just, this was like a run-on ridiculous sentence I wrote here, but it is. This is just dumb to think that there's a whole planet full of people that dominated in World War I and World War II. That these people still exist. They're holding on to these beliefs. They're holding on to this way of life. I was floored when I heard this story, and that's why I'm telling you. Tony was never aware of the Germans' intentions. One of his jobs was to collect technology from different places in the galaxy. His highest rank was cargo engineer. 8 years of his term was trained fixing or repairing. He believes he was chosen because humans are the best robots. When he was treated badly, or the most badly, he was told, it's okay, you won't remember anything anyway. So, do I believe that there's a 20-year and back program? Do I believe that there's a secret space program? Yes, I do. And if he's one of hundreds of thousands of soldiers that have probably been going back and forth from that planetoid for ages. And the thing that really, really gets to me, and I hope full disclosure through the powers that be comes very soon. That's what they're saying. I believe 2022, this is right around the corner. But I just want to give you a taste of some of this information that nobody wants to hear, that nobody believes. Do I believe it 100%? I can't say that it's 100%. Do I believe it 99.9%? Yes. And if I ever find out anything differently, I will be back on here to set the record straight. But for right now, do I believe Tony Rodrigues? Yes, I do believe Tony Rodrigues. I absolutely believe. And I know I get a little heated, and sometimes my words just get all mixed and jumbled, but I wanted to bring you this information because I needed you to be aware. I wanted you to yet have more information regarding this so that your mind is more open, because once you hear certain information, once you read certain books, once you have certain knowledge, it changes you forever. This is the end of my video. Please like, comment, share my videos with other people. Again, interact with me, and guys, make good decisions. Please try to make the best decisions that you can, because you are in control of your destiny. The power of no will set you free. And until my next video, stay well.